Hello, friends. It's Sam Cheney reporting for Weaponized News. Today's July 13th, 2026. Thank you for joining us on this Monday edition of Weaponized News. Quite a bit to get to today. We're bombing Iran right now as this report goes out. Quite horrific. Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Houthis. Saudi Arabia has declared war there. It's getting ugly fast. We're battling over who's going to control the Strait of HORMUZ. Today's the 2-year anniversary of Trump's fake assassination in Butler. Lindsey Graham has died, thankfully. Mitch McConnell putting out fake AI proof of life videos. It's just the insanity doesn't stop here now. They're doing Formula One in DC racing. And the rest of the country is trying to figure out how to afford groceries. We have a bunch of economic news, a bunch of the war news back and forth here, a bunch of police state news, geopolitical news. It's getting crazier and crazier and crazier. I do see a few people coming online. Shout out to Mac and Ruckus there. I did see Ruckus, aren't you going on a show? Aren't you supposed to be on a show? I think Ruckus is supposed to be on the Jimmy Dore show with fill-in host, something like this, I thought. Anyhow, shout out to Ruckus. Thank you for jumping in the Weaponized News chat. All right. What the heck? Let's get to this day in history and get to all this crazy news. Russia-Ukraine's escalating. It's insane right now, all by design. Engineered energy crisis, engineered famine here now. Friday, the fourth tranche of UFO data released by the federal government. Nobody cares. Man, oh man. Okay, let's get to this day in history and all this news for you. On this day of July 13th, we go back to the year 1700. We saw the Treaty of Constantinople, published peace after Russia-Turkish War. On this day, 1854, U.S. forces shell and burn San Juan del Norte, Nicaragua. On this day, 1863, we saw anti-draft protests in New York City turn violent, with over 100 people killed, including the lynching of black individuals, 2,000 injured, and 500 buildings burned. The riots lasted for 3 days. We do love our Civil War here in America. 1923 on this day, Hollywood land sign. The Hollywood sign is officially dedicated in the hills of Hollywood, Los Angeles. It originally reads Hollywood Land, but the last 4 letters are dropped after renovation in 1949. Here's the original sign there, casting all those spells on us out there through the magic of Hollywood. The original Hollywood Land sign there. On this day in 1923. On this day in 1949, Pope Pius VII excommunicates communist Catholics. On this day, 1982, Iran launches first attack into Iraq. On this day in 2008, brewing company InBev announces deal to buy American brewer Anheuser-Busch for almost $52 billion. So Anheuser-Busch is not an American company. On this day in 2018, Johnson & Johnson ordered to pay a record $4.7 billion in damages in talc cancer case by jury in the United States of Missouri. in the U.S. state of Missouri. And on this day in 2024, Trump survives fake assassination. I added that part. They're still acting like it's real. Trump survives an assassination attempt at an outdoor campaign rally in rural Butler, Pennsylvania. Gunman Thomas Cooks fires 6 to 8 shots, killing 1 spectator, critically wounding 2, and hits Trump in the ear with a bullet before he is killed by a Secret Service sniper. Sure. That's the official story. And on this day in our civil liberties history, we go back to the year 1917. Activists protest post office censorship of anti-war publications. A group of prominent New Yorkers, including attorney Dooley Field Malone, collector of the Port of New York, met over lunch on this day and agreed to send a representative to Washington to protest the exclusion of anti-war periodicals from the mails. This effort, along with others, failed to end the repressive policies of the post office after the U.S. entered World War I. On April 6, 1917, suppression of dissent by the administration of President Woodrow Wilson began almost immediately. Exclusion of anti-war publications from the mails by the post office was one of the most powerful instruments of repression. 2 of the most important anti-war publications, The Masses and the Socialist Party's magazine, American Socialist, were barred from the mails on July 7th, 1917. If we had a functioning government and they actually ever did get around to actually declaring war, you could forget about any dissent around all anti-war activists up and put them in FEMA camps, probably execute them nowadays. I mean, this government's so damn evil. They all cheer, all your fake government clowns, shill, fake hacks, straight up criminals. The government's organized crime syndicate out there giving their praises of Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham's an evil piece of shit. And we should be happy he's gone, honestly. The world's a better place without Lindsey Graham. I'm sorry to report to you here now. And I'm not gonna play this game. Oh, he was a good guy. No, he was a piece of shit. Okay. That would gladly send you and I, our sons and daughters, off to die in some foreign hellhole. Instrumental. I don't want to get into it because it just pisses me off how fake all this bullshit is. Lindsey Graham was a piece of shit and he can burn in hell. We saw another death. I guess they did come in threes. Mitch McConnell's putting out fake AI video, proof of life photos. We'll get to that. Actor Sam Neill dies at age 78. Rest in peace there, Sam Neill, over the weekend. And then here's this fake BS out of the White House. Fight, fight, fight. What a bunch of BS. This is professional wrestling by Trump. Really? Really? Total BS. Here you go from the White House. And don't give me, oh, Trump has to do that. Trump is a big asshole. And so he's an actor as well. He's the freaking the hell's the wrestling? He's the villain, right? Anyhow, we lost a great man. He was a great politician. The real loser was the United States of America. We lost a great person, a kind person, a very smart person. Everything for him was about work. It was about loving the country. And that's Trump's statement on Fox and Friends about Lindsey Graham, this warmonger piece of trash. Video from in front of Lindsey Graham's house. Only one roses left there. Show you how popular this piece of garbage was. Here's the memorial in front of his house. One little bundle of roses here. Gotta kill that music, but yeah, everybody loves Lindsey Graham. Give me a freaking break. Everybody hated dude. Elections are rigged. Give me a freaking break. President Trump honors the life and legacy of Senator Lindsey Graham, the White House posted. I just can't, okay? I can't. This picture better captures Lindsey Graham's legacy right here. There you go. Darlene Graham, Lindsey Graham's sister, appointed to serve out his Senate term. So Lindsey Graham's officially dead. South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster earlier today appointed the late Senator Graham's sister, Darlene Graham Nordon, to finish his Senate term, which ends in January. And all the idiot clownfluencer MAGAs, oh yeah, I support this. Well, you support the monarchy, hereditary bloodlines. You're literal traitors to the country. Thank you very much for showing your face. They support this BS. And so what's the technical details about all this? I was like, what? They can't just appoint her. Well, it turns out here she's going to serve out till she will hold his Senate seat. I'm sure vote for every tyrannical war, criminal stealing from us, merging up. We're going to get to the police state merging with Aardvark land military. She'll vote for all of it, I'm sure. A total puppet, obviously, here now. Anyway, she will hold the seat as an interim appointee until the new Congress convenes January 3rd, 2027. This appointment is a symbolic and personal tribute. He deserves nothing. He deserves to be spit on, piss on his grave. Graham had been her legal guardian after their parents died when they were young. President Trump, Senator Tim Scott, and others supported her for the role. Graham was up for re-election in November. His death triggers a special process under South Carolina law. A special Republican primary election is scheduled for August 11th. What's that, in like a month here now? 2026, to select the GOP nominee to replace Graham on the general election ballot. The winner of the November 2026 general election will serve a full 6-year term beginning January 3rd, 2027 and ending in January 2033. South Carolina's governor has the power to make the interim appointment, which was used today, while the election fills the seat for the new term. So it's not even going to matter. Republicans are going to get destroyed here now in the midterms. But hey, we got dead Lindsey Graham, rest in piss, and we got Mitch McConnell here lying. Let's watch this report. They literally put out a fake AI photo of proof of life of this turtle man.
Office of the attending physician that we learned. Senator McConnell has experienced several falls throughout the last year. That
image right there. This is elder abuse by his wife, by the government, by the media. It's beyond the pale of disgusting. This photo as proof of life is AI. It's fake. So these are disgusting criminals running racketeering operations on the American people. Here it is. There's the image. Grok on X AI says modern AI generated images can be virtually indistinguishable from real ones. So visuals alone rarely allow definitive proof. This circulating photo of Mitch McConnell with the woman and newspaper is AI generated. You can see right there. I don't know, maybe this AI is lying about it. I don't think so. OpenAI's verification tool detected Google's Synth ID watermark on matching versions of the image. Fact checker Snopes Cincinnati Enquirer confirmed it is fake. I don't know if I trust these guys, but citing inconsistencies like wrapped details and unnatural elements, no aesthetic hospital photo like this has been released. Mitch McConnell has been hospitalized since June 14th, but the image is fabricated. That's what came out of his office with his Chinese spy wife. He's a Chinese spy too. It's just beyond the pale, man. They're not even good criminals. Okay, that's why we need accountability. These people in the government that constantly lie, cheat, and steal from us, we need accountability. They need to start going to jail, man, because it just gets more absurd by the day, and they're literally laughing in everybody's face. We need accountability from these criminals. The government's not legitimate at this point. Oh, Patriot Games ringing just like Hunger Games here now. 2026 Patriot Games apply now. Really? I wouldn't want my kids anywhere around this corrupt, evil government. But you can apply now, be part of America 250, and be delusional here. As America celebrates its 250th birthday, the 2026 Patriot Games will bring together the nation's most exceptional young athletes and leaders for an unforgettable competition honoring excellence and the American spirit. The 2026 Patriot Games is a premier national competition featuring outstanding high school athletes from across the nation. Male and female athletes will be selected to represent their home state or territory on a national stage as they compete in a series of high-intensity challenges designed to strengthen speed, agility, teamwork, resilience, and leadership. They teach you how to be a criminal when you go to DC. Probably that's part of the program here now too. Each champion will receive $125,000 in scholarship funding. The 2026 Patriot Games will be featured as a nationally televised primetime event in August next month, 2026, showcasing America's next generation of leaders and athletes to audiences across the country. Yeah, it's looking a whole lot like the Hunger Games. And there you go. They're going to do it at Spire Academy in Geneva, Ohio, August 9th through the 11th. Televised finale on August 13th. Continuing here, they rolled out Formula One and some more distractions. Bread and circuses. We're bombing the hell out of Iran. Can't afford groceries. Look at they're racing Formula One around DC. Moving at warp speed to make America great again. They're destroying America with all their warp speed of everything. It's quite literally absurd. Freedom 250 Grand Prix. Bro, we can't afford gas. Nearly every core provision of the Memorandum of Understanding signed by Trump and Iranian President Pezeshkian on June 17th has been reversed less than a month later. Of the 14-point framework, the major reversals include ceasefire broken, The U.S. has carried out repeated waves of strikes, hitting more than 80 targets in one July 8th round of strikes on Iran's Bandar Abbas naval base with sea drones yesterday, according to U.S. Central Command. Iran's IRGC says it struck U.S. military sites in Bahrain and Kuwait in response. Oil sanctions reversed. Washington reimposed sanctions, revoking Iran's ability to sell oil, undoing the central economic concession of the deal, as the Iranian foreign minister and outlets, including the failing New York Times, have noted. Strait of Hormuz closed. Iran announced it will keep control of passage and declared the strait closed until further notice over the weekend. Parliamentary Speaker Ghalibaf said, Iranian Parliamentary Speaker Ghalibaf said, Hormuz will only open with Iranian agreements, not American threats. What remains, Iran's reaffirmation that it will not develop nuclear weapons and the unresolved 60-day negotiating track over its nuclear stockpile and U.S. sanctions and clauses both sides are notionally still committed to. It's over. Trump declared the deal over at the NATO summit on July 8th. Yeah, it's over. We're bombing the hell out of them right now. There in D.C., a 10-foot tall participation trophy has been placed on the National Mall in honor of Donald Trump's enthusiastic involvement in the Iran war. A group called Secret Handshake is taking credit for it. Here's that participation trophy they gave Trump for the Iran war. Iran war participation trophy, obviously trolling Trump there. Let's read out the little plaque they put up. Iran War Participation Trophy. We hereby award President Donald J. Trump this participation trophy for his enthusiastic involvement in the Iran War. While some concern themselves with military strategy, diplomacy, or measurable outcomes, President Trump demonstrated the courage to participate regardless of the final score. As the recipient of this prestigious award, President Trump joins the ranks of children everywhere who received recognition for simply showing up. We join you in celebrating this remarkable achievement. With honor, the Secret Handshake Prize Committee. That's a pretty good one, honestly. And again, here's the participation trophy there in D.C. We are reinstating the Iranian blockade, so named because it is only stopping Iran ships or customers from entering or leaving. The U.S. will be, from this point forward, known as, quote, the guardian of the Strait of Hormuz. Trump said it in a Truth Social post earlier today. Again, as the Constitution says, we're commanded, as the U.S. military is commanded to be the police of the Strait of Hormuz, right? Sure it is. There you go. Guardian of the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's response to Trump's Hormuz Guardian claim. Iran's foreign minister, Argachai, appeared to mock President Trump after the U.S. president declared America the, quote, guardian of the Strait of Hormuz, and said Washington would charge 20% on all cargo shipped through it. President of the United States is absolutely right. Whoever provides secure, safe passage of commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz would be compensated for this service, Argachite wrote. Everybody's Iran and America both standing there with guns pointed at your face. Pay us. It's not a racketeering operation. We just care about free maritime shipping through the region. And they're both standing there with guns in everybody's face. Pay us or we shoot you in the face to go cross this Strait of Hormuz. Straight up racketeering extortion. Holding the world hostage here now, creating an engineered energy crisis, engineered famine, continuing here now. Iran has always been the guardian of the Strait of Hormuz and will remain so forever, Argachai added. Iran believes 20% is, of course, too much, saying Iran, unlike the United States, will be fair. They're both extortionist, racketeer criminals. Take your pick. Who do you want to pay off protection money to? Probably both. Shippers through the Strait of Hormuz will probably wind up having to pay both here now. Amazing. U.S. Central Command here now. We're just announcing it. Talk about telegraph your attacks. We are pretty confident. I give U.S. Central Command and Trump that because we're openly announcing we will be bombing you continually here now. U.S. Central Command forces began launching more strikes against Iran to continue degrading their ability to attack civilian mariners and commercial ships freely transiting the Strait of Hormuz. The commander-in-chief has directed the strikes to hold Iranian forces accountable. There's that post earlier today by U.S. Central Command. Yeah, it's not good. It's quite horrific, actually. The U.S. military used explosive sea drones in combat for the first time to strike an Iranian naval base, U.S. Central Command said earlier today, in an attack that further escalated the renewed war between Washington and Tehran. This is a readout from Drop Site. CENTCOM said 3 Corsair unmanned surface vessels, small boats packed with explosives that ram their targets, hit a submarine and ship maintenance facility at Bandar Abbas Naval Base and Iran's southern coast along the Strait of Hormuz yesterday. The command said the strikes were meant to degrade Iran's ability to attack commercial shipping in the waterway through which roughly a fifth of the world's oil passes. The claims could not be independently verified. So like 20%, right, of the world's oil allegedly passes through the Strait of Hormuz. And here in America, we say we get none there, but our gas prices are jacked up to the sky. We'll get to that in the economic section. The Bandar Abbas strike was part of a wider weekend assault that CENTCOM says hit dozens of targets across southern Iran, including air defenses and coastal radar sites. Maybe they can ease up on the weather modification. Just saying. The Corsair, built by U.S. drone firm Saronic, is a 24-foot craft that can carry 1,000-pound payload up to 1,000 nautical miles. The tactic mirrors Ukraine's use of drone boats against the Russian fleet in the Black Sea. The strikes come days after U.S. revoked the sanctions waiver, allowing Iran to sell oil, and declared the two countries' short-lived ceasefire over. Here's the video of the alleged attacks by the drone boats here, posted by U.S. Central Command earlier today. Take a look. Take a look at your money going up in smoke. USA, America, isn't that awesome? quite horrific. Statement out of Iran's central headquarters: the Joint Operation Command of Iran's armed forces that coordinates the military and the IRGC issued a new warning rejecting any U.S. role in the Strait of Hormuz. The headquarters spokesman said, remember this guy? Maybe he is hiding out. This guy's always all pissed off yelling, right? This dude. Remember him? Looks like he needs a tan. I don't know. Maybe he's hiding out in underground bunkers. Anyway, he's always all pissed off. And he says that Iran will, under no circumstances, allow the U.S. to interfere in managing the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian forces will respond forcefully to any U.S. military activity affecting commercial shipping outside routes designed by Iran. Gulf states were warned that providing logistical support to U.S. forces would be considered an act of war against Iran's sovereignty and national security. The statement said that if the conflict expands, quote, the flames of war could engulf the entire region, and blame the U.S. and its regional partners for any further escalation. It's escalating right now as we speak here. That was earlier today. Here's the official statement by U.S. Central Command. U.S. forces to resume naval blockade against Iran. Not good. The resumption of the U.S. blockade against Iran follows the initial implementation from April 13th to June 18th. CENTCOM forces redirected more than 140 compliant vessels, disabled 9 non-compliant ships, and allowed over 50 commercial vessels supporting humanitarian aid to pass through the blockade during the 2-month period. All mariners are advised to monitor notice to mariners broadcast and contact U.S. naval forces on bridge-to-bridge channel 16 when operating in the Gulf of Oman or the Strait of Hormuz approaches. They put out this nice little video. We have a bunch of ships over there. Additional information will be provided to commercial mariners through a formal notice. And so isn't that nice? We have all these ships over there. And again, as the Constitution says, it's our job to police the Strait of Hormuz. Sure it is. More from Iran's foreign minister, Argachai, says, President of the United States is absolutely right. Did we cover this? Yeah, we covered that. We had another statement. Yeah, we covered that statement. Here's one from Iran senior Aziyai, senior MP out of Iran, says, this is the Persian Gulf, and Iran sets the terms in the Strait of Hormuz. To the Bay of Pigs failures, enough with the empty bluster. Publish the real numbers on your human and financial losses. He's hinting at the fact that casualties and the damage to U.S. bases is a lot worse than we've been officially told by the government. Shocking, I know. He's hinting at that. Iran glues Washington Post story about Trump's lies on one of the missiles in the latest wave of attacks targeting U.S. assets in the Gulf. Here's a video, a little short clip of that, sending a message. Trump's false or misleading claims total 30,573 over 4 years. Don't be a panicking. Trust lying criminal Trump. Iran is confronting ruthless child killers on the battlefield and deceitful, faithless liars in diplomacy. This is the reality of the struggle against the United States. You can see right there. So they're playing these lawyer semantical word games again, so they don't have to actually follow the Constitution, be accountable to the people they allegedly represent here now. President Trump formally notified lawmakers this weekend that the nation is once again at war with Iran, giving his administration another 60-day clock to use the military in the region without congressional approval. It's straight up bullshit. These are war criminals. Trump's a war criminal. And they're manipulating and abusing our system with the corrupt Congress. Signing off on it essentially here now. It's just beyond the pale of disgusting. Justin Amash wrote, he said that this is not how it works. The War Powers Resolution doesn't give the president a, quote, free 60 days. And the Constitution certainly doesn't either. Regardless, we're talking about a single war. You don't get to pause it and then pretend it's a different war. Well, we already won the first war with Iran, sunk their navy, killed half their leaders, killed Khomeini, and opened the strait. We won the war. The strait's closed. Khomeini's in charge, and Iran's more pissed off than ever before. Hashtag winning. Here's Jeremy Kuzmarov, managing editor of Covert Action magazine, on can we overthrow the Iranian regime?
But that is their modus operandi. They've been doing that for years. I mean, they've advanced the lies about the Iranian nuclear weapon program when we know that the Iranian Ayatollah issued a fatwa years ago against that. So that was part of their disinformation program to try and build support for the war in Iran. And Mossad, learned from the CIA. It was James Angleton who helped set up the Mossad. He was a major figure in the CIA in the 50s and 60s. So Mossad just learned from the CIA, and they used the same techniques. But again, it's wearing thin in the public who's not supporting these endless wars anymore.
And we're running out of time here, but in closing, what is your take on the current state of this war, and how long do you think it'll drag out? I mean, this has been an ongoing conversation. You've been part of it with us, but will we see U.S. boots on the ground in Iran now, you think, with the last few days and what's been happening?
Well, I think the funeral, there was some good reporting that we got about the funeral and the numbers of people that were out there in Iran, millions and millions of people, and that showed their support for the regime in Iran. So, how did the U.S. or Israel expect to affect regime change? I mean, history shows if you're against the popular will, you're not going to be able to affect regime change, no matter how much bombing you do.
Yep. They had over 40 million in the, 4 or 5 day Khomeini funeral turnout for him. Everybody hates them. No, they've rallied all the people now to hate America and aardvark land. The Iranian army announced that it carried out drone strikes against U.S. military assets in Kuwait, targeting communication systems, fuel depots, Patriot air defense systems, a control tower, a ammunition storage facility in response to repeated U.S. attacks on Iran. The statement also said that the Iranian Navy launched cruise missiles at a hostile U.S. vessel following missile strikes on several Iranian military sites. The Iranian military warned that its retaliatory operations will continue and stressed that future responses will be calibrated to the scale of enemy aggression and carried out with force. It's all bad, man. It's all bad. Satellite imagery from Sonar Atlas, dated yesterday, July 12th, appears to show damage at both Prince Hassan Air Base in Jordan, which is used by U.S. forces, and the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet support area in Bahrain. Iranian semi-official media are circulating images from both sites saying they were struck during Iran's July 12th, yesterday, attacks, that the imagery confirms the accuracy of its drones and missile strikes. U.S. officials have not have not publicly confirmed the damage reports here now. They're saying they whacked this place. Saying they whacked those our bases there, American bases, allegedly. Our U.S. casualty numbers and damage to our bases that Iran built their country around way worse than the U.S. federal government's telling us? I believe they are. All right, we got more Iran news in the geopolitical section of the show. Let's move on to police state here in America, because America 250. We're going to have a police state, right? Sure we do. So they essentially have de facto martial law there in Washington, D.C. I guess they love it. Make D.C. safe again. 15,090 arrests, 1,717 firearms seized. And they're proud of this de facto police state. U.S. Marshal Services posted this. Where the hell is all the other police? Like, nobody ever takes responsibility. I shot another dude in Maine. Here's a video of that. Bidford shooting. So ICE whacked this dude. ICE quickly cordons off body after agents kill another person. ICE agents killed a person in Bidford, Maine earlier today. Then quickly surrounded the body while state and federal investigators rushed to the scene. Maine House Speaker Ryan Factul, who represents Bidford, confirmed the killing in a Facebook post. This was from earlier. I think we did have some more details here. Immigration agents shoot Bidford man as he fled in the direction of an officer, AG says. Protests are growing after a man identified as a 26-year-old from Colombia was fatally shot. Immigration advocates say he was authorized to work in the United States. And I do believe we had a name here. Didn't we get a name out of this? I thought we had a name. Man killed was 26-year-old from Colombia who is authorized to work in the United States, U.S. immigration advocates say. Witnesses describe seeing person shot, bleeding from the head. Senator out of Maine, Angus Young, says FBI will investigate ICE shooting, calls for transparency. Protesters descend on Senator Collins' Bidford office as anti-ICE protesters around Bidford grow Monday. Residents say ICE actively had increased in the area in the recent weeks. I don't know. It was an illegal, or was an immigrant at least. I guess they're trying to say he was here legally. At least it wasn't an American citizen. Data centers in Ohio are preparing to discharge their waste directly into lakes and streams, and EPA is working on permits to let them do it. Let's watch this report. And so anything for the technocracy.
On average, a single data center uses 500 million gallons of water a day for cooling, according to industry reports. Some of that wastewater could be discharged into Ohio's lakes and streams under a permitting process under review by the Ohio EPA. Environmental groups have concerns about the impact to water quality in rural communities.
It's like a small city, the discharge that will come out of these. And that will, if they don't have a sewage treatment plant, that will go into the streams or the river or another body of water.
Under the Ohio EPA's proposal, data centers that qualify for the water discharge would get a 5-year permit to release water used to cool down tech components.
This is very real. The EPA is proposing those permits to let data centers dump all that water into the lakes and streams. The Ohio EPA proposed a general permit, this one right here, to streamline the approvals for data center discharges of wastewater and stormwater. This covers a couple different kinds of water. It would allow direct discharge into rivers, streams, or Lake Erie under certain conditions. Permits would be for 5 years. So the EPA is reviewing everything. The agency says it's maintaining water quality protections, but it is necessary for economic growth. Data centers bring jobs and tax revenue. So they're willing to let these concerns kind of go off to the side because of the potential jobs and tax revenue, which we know that there's not really that many jobs that come with these things. It's really just a scam. So the concerns being raised are thermal pollution. The hot water can harm aquatic life. Chemicals, there are real chemicals and metals that data center pollution causes. Volume, just the amount of water and discharges, especially during droughts. So the amount of water that they're taking out, the amount of water they're pushing back in. Environmental groups like the Great Lakes groups warn of risks for the drinking water, recreation, and ecosystems. So there are real risks here, and you are not going to get a lot of return for these risks, but they're going to plow ahead anyway.
Anything for technocracy. Meta now says this data center will cost over $50 billion, and the state is giving the tech giant a 20-year tax exemption. Zuckerberg is building a data center in Louisiana the size of Manhattan. Let's watch this short clip.
I grew up here, and I wanted my kids to be able to do the same. And we welcome Meta, which opened a data center in our town.
We were behind an 18-wheeler once, and it backed up, and we almost got killed. My guy had to go mouth those people out. She'll say, Meta's stupid. She just doesn't like it, and I don't like it. We've been there for since I was alive, and Papa was alive, so I don't really like that we're gonna have to move.
We went to Holly Ridge, Louisiana, where Meta's new Manhattan-sized data center is being built. Meta's new ads claim these communities welcome data centers, but residents painted a very different picture.
We had no voting on it, no community meetings, no nothing. It was done all under the table, and when it was said and done, there was nothing nobody could do.
You're planning to leave?
I've been here 81 years. I can't stay here with nobody I can talk to. My mom has been out here all her life, 82 years. She's really not happy about it, but does want to leave too.
Do you think they care about the people that live here?
No, I sure don't.
Residents emphasize the increased traffic violence from Meta's trucks. I dug through police reports and found a 600% increase in vehicle crashes on the roads surrounding Meta's construction site in the last 9 months.
The playground at the front of the school, they're not letting y'all play on that, right?
No. Meta trucks don't watch out. If they try to stop, they will wrecked into the gate, and that's why they're saying we shouldn't go out there and all that, because there's too many wrecks and Meta trucks, and they could crash. I really love that playground.
Do you wish you could play there?
Yes.
Residents also shared their distrust in the quality of their water and the lack of support from elected officials to address it.
My neighbor was washing my clothes and messed up a whole load of whites because it come out stained from that brown water.
Do you feel like it's safe to drink?
No, I buy water.
Have you heard anything about them addressing that?
No.
Have you gotten any information about the project at all from anybody?
None at all, except on the internet and on my Facebook.
How does this change what it's like to live here?
Just totally different. I mean, who wants to live like this?
And they're just getting started building out this technocracy. Police in Houston, Texas, are facing these vandals taking down the flock cameras. Let's take a look at this.
According to a crowdsourcing map, this is a flock camera. Well, it used to be. If you take a little bit of a closer look, you can tell it looks like it's been cut down. And the camera itself, it's nowhere to be found. Growing distaste for flock cameras is manifesting in Harris County 2 ways. through public means.
Having flocked in Harris County makes us less safe. It puts all our county's residents' lives at risk of mass surveillance.
And vandalism.
That there was no rhyme or reason to where these cameras were placed. The county essentially allowed Flock to take over our streets by placing ALRPRs anywhere they pleased.
Eyewitness News has found at least half a dozen Flock cameras cut down across Harris County. Houston police saying so far no one has been arrested, but they are investigating. The destruction comes as county commissioners voted unanimously Thursday to amend their contract with Flock, not to restrict Flock, but to ensure the device is available for use countywide. The cameras collect information and can be accessed by agencies who have contracts with the company, like law enforcement. Experts tell ABC 13 public distaste for the cameras is growing nationwide, along with concerns for mass surveillance, privacy, and data sharing.
For many in society, they're looking at what the negative unintended consequences may be if this information gets leaked or someone uses it and finds itself in the wrong hands.
Flock saying on their website they do not sell data to third parties and that all searches are recorded. According to Flock's website, their product is different from traditional security cameras. While security cameras capture an area, Flock says their system uses machine learning to take clear photos of license plates and store it with a physical description of the car.
They're building databases on everybody. Their government's illegitimate. They don't represent us. Maybe some wins though. We got to win, maybe. We got to win. The LAPD has stopped working with Flock. The police department halted the use of Flock AI license plate surveillance cameras as government officials cite concerns over data privacy. Every day there's a story about some crooked cop going after his ex-old lady, trying to do something to use that data for their own personal ends, highly illegal. But corrupt cops all over the place are using this data for their own ends. Local organizers are demanding that the Los Angeles Police Department not find a replacement for Flock and instead permanently stop the use of AI cameras. The CEO of Prospera, a currently operating privatized city in Honduras, the actualized network state will have an audience with a congressional committee next Tuesday. So we're going to follow this. This is on the back of building out these private technocracy, tech bro cities. Peter Thiel is funding a plan to build privatized city states all over the place here now, from Gaza and Venezuela to small towns in California. 15-minute cities here now. And then they'll shadow President of America Milei here on Fox News. They're merging up. The 2027 NDAA is coming up here soon. And so the government will be naked in its treason against the American people and the Constitution.
Well, Prime Minister, will that drawing down of foreign aid from the United States to Israel be compensated by the proposal to have a merging of some sort between our Pentagon and your military?
Yeah, I'm calling it from aid to partnership. So we take away the money that is given to Israel, which is one part, but the other part is we co-invest in equal measures in the new technologies that are needed to give our military and your military the advantage. So there are some unbelievable projects. So we invest jointly and take the fruits equally. You move from aid to partnership, and I think that represents what Israel is. And remember, the other thing is that we share with America unbelievable intelligence to save American life. General Keegan has said that when he was working in American intelligence, what Israel was giving the United States was worth, he said, 5 CIAs. I'm not trying to be mathematically exact, but Israel's contributions to America's defense are important. Our technology is incredible. And since yours is incredible too, and you're the great champion of liberty and free markets, I think the meshing of our two great countries of talent would strengthen America's position, competitive position, both in the economic marketplace and in the military battlefield in many important ways. So that's the idea. The idea is to take away aid, one-sided aid, and move it into, bilateral investments for common benefit.
It certainly.
This week, the Senate will vote to merge our military's most sensitive and secretive capabilities with Aardvark Clan. This is a post by Joe Kent. Of course, he resigned as a top intelligence counterterrorism dude in protest of the Iran war. Here now, again, the intelligence community told Trump there was no imminent nuclear threat from Iran. Same with the State Department. Anyway, he continues to say this merger is buried within the massive NDAA, and they're hoping you won't notice. Merging our military with a foreign country is a treasonous betrayal of our sovereignty. Call your senators and tell them to vote no on the NDAA until the merger with Aardvark Land Section 219 is taken out. They changed it. It was a different number. Tell them that we will never support merging our military with a foreign nation. Senate switchboard number 202-224-3121. Netanyahu confirms plan to merge U.S. and Aardvark Land militaries. Report out of Information Liberation. It's extremely concerning, to say the least, here now. That's coming up here soon. Here's Massey.
I think it's ironic that we control the House, the Senate, the Supreme Court, and the White House, and we're yelling election fraud. I mean, we won all the damn elections, and we're in charge, and what are we doing with it? We're bankrupting the country, we're starting new wars, we're violating the Constitution, we're not cracking down on the fraud. The problem is not the elections. We won the damn elections. The problem is we're wasting our opportunity that the voters gave us. And the Republicans are going to pay for that in November. It'll be an absolute shellacking.
Indeed, they're not waking up. And so just yell you're a communist all day. This government is illegitimate. It doesn't represent the people here now. And it's getting more and more apparent every day. All right, let's take our live commercial break here now. Give me the like, share, subscribe, push that notification button as we're an hour in to the news here. Thank you for joining us on this Monday edition. Very, very concerning ongoing bombing campaign against Iran. And then we would expect Iran's response. And so it's full-on hot war with Iran on this Monday. Go to weaponizednews.com/shop. The link's in the description below this video. Get yourself a holograph sticker. We have the white background sticker, clear sticker. Weaponizednews.com/shop. We got stickers, coffee mugs, t-shirts, baseball caps, shot glasses. As this show is known to induce heavy bouts of drinking, weaponizednews.com/shop. We take donations as well. Buy me a coffee, Bitcoin wallet address, Cash App links all in the description below this video. Become a paid subscriber of Weaponized News Substack. We give away everything free, nothing behind a paywall. You'll get the full show over there on Weaponized News Substack. We're streaming there live now. You'll get a summary of the show, and you'll get links to almost everything we talk about for documentation and further research purposes. They're at Weaponized News Substack. Again, It's all free, nothing beyond the paywall. Show your support for independent reporting and analysis brought to you 5 days a week. Weaponized News Substack, broadcasting live Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern Time. weaponizednews.com/shop. Weaponized News Substack. Any which way you choose to support us is truly appreciated. Thank you very much to all the patrons, to the store, the donors, and the unpaid subscribers, and especially the paid subscribers. We do appreciate all of the support out there. Thank you very much. And all the links are in the description right below this video. Give me the like, share, subscribe, push that notification button. All of that is free for you. All right. Welcome back to the second half of Weaponized News on this Monday, July 13th, 2026 edition. Let's get into a little bit more Epstein file reporting. 205 plus days, DOJ in violation of federal law. Why do they think we will forget? We won't. The Epstein files sealed. All pressure on Todd Blanche as they try to get him confirmed as Attorney General, Trump's corrupt personal attorney. Here now. Here's a clip. Here's a clip, a little bit more reporting on Leon Black, all up in Epstein files, good buddies with Trump.
They're all friends. They all do the same thing. It's just biz.
It's all beautiful.
Point being, with things like that with Jay Clayton, yeah, I'm going to lose my mind when I see all these threads happen to tie together on this strange timeline that's certainly a suspect. But yes, it is pure spec.
Yeah.
I mean, should go without saying. That said, sorry, that was a long tangent on this. I was talking about Andrew Levander here, which we were digging deeper into. So
gotta set the roots.
You gotta set the roots.
The roots for flowers, dude.
Yeah, listen, what was the old Nick Sirianni quote? You know, we're planting the seeds, and then the roots come up and the flowers, and it grows. And then we won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
if you know, you know.
Sounds good to me.
Anyway, so that Henry article right there, can we start with that, Deef? So this is from Henry Abbott's blog, True Hoop, which has this entire investigation, which I was showing you this before, Deef. Can you just pull up the homepage to True Hoop real fast? This was awesome. So Henry was a guy that I didn't know personally. Obviously, he's been on the show now, but I had shouted out his research for years because it was second to none in my book, what he did back in 2020, 2021, and 2022 with this whole 21-chapter Epstein saga. And so when I did episode 388 with John Kiriakou in February, I brought it up and went through it and explained this whole thing. Henry saw it and was like really excited, and then he and I connected, and the rest was history. But when you go to his homepage, he now organized just so that when people get there on the landing page, like, hey, start with my initial investigation. So the front of it says, start here, True Hoops, Jeffrey Epstein investigation. And I just want to take credit for the best byline in the history of websites, where it says, quote below it, some of the greatest shit I've ever read, unquote. That is my quote. I felt like a celebrity reading that. That was pretty cool.
That's cool.
So I did say that on John Kiriakou's episode, and now Henry's led on the byline with it, probably thinking like, God damn it, this is the quote I got. Huh?
Nah, he likes it. He's rock and roll, dude.
All right. But anyway, so this is another. What do we even know? What this was part 4?
Yeah, this
of
is
that
part
initial
4 from
investigation.
2021. Yeah.
Okay, and we're gonna refer to that. And Deef, you know what? Just to keep it simple, I'm gonna pull it up here so I have it in front of me.
Do it
as well, so all you guys out there can see it. And I'm gonna cut down to the part where it says James Patterson's 2017 book, Filthy Rich. This is what we're gonna zoom in on. Okay. All right, so James Patterson's 2017 book, Filthy Rich, which has been made into a Netflix special, which, by the way, that came out, if my memory serves me right when COVID hit and everyone got home.
Oh, yeah. Did it? I can't remember.
Right?
Yeah.
And, it's like 6 months after he died, 7 months after he, quote-unquote, died. Definitely, didn't kill himself, but they say he died and all that. Certainly have my questions there. But, James Patterson also goes way back with one William Jefferson Clinton. Pretty
Classic.
well. You know? And it's just, he was a Palm Beach resident, too.
Palm Beach.
He at least had a home there. You see stuff like that, and you're like, all right, what's the play here? And listen, James Patterson, great writer. It's just some pure spec right there as far as like some, weird ties. But I don't know. All these rich people, they seem to know each other.
Yeah.
They're going to name some others. We keep naming them here. Yeah, it seems almost like there's a conspiracy going on, huh? JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon questioned on whether he lobbied UK government on Epstein's advice, Financial Times reports. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon has received a letter from Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren about whether he lobbied the UK government against a tax on bankers' bonuses on the advice of Jeffrey Epstein, the Financial Times reported earlier today. The report follows the release of a cache of documents earlier this year. We know the Epstein files. And so, trying to do a little follow-up. Here in America, the FBI essentially said the case is closed, and the DOJ is covering up they're covering up right now. Do we have more reports? They're blocking the state of New Mexico's inquiry into Epstein's Zorro Ranch, so the cover-up is expanding here now. Goldman Sachs lawyer Rumler to be questioned by House panel on Epstein ties. And she's this psychopath woman that was a top attorney in Obama administration. Then, of course, the revolving door center over there to Goldman Sachs to be top senior counsel. And initially they acted like they were ashamed and fired her. And now she's back there because they have no shame, because they're all criminals. Report out of Reuters. Goldman Sachs senior counsel Catherine Rumler is set to face congressional scrutiny Wednesday. So they're bringing her into the House Oversight Committee. We'll see. We'll report on it on Wednesday if we get any bombshells there. I highly doubt it, as they're in cover-up lying mode. Epstein survivor sent letter to Senate Judiciary opposing Todd Blanche nomination. Everybody should oppose his nomination because he's a criminal and will continue Trump's criminal activities and covering up for him, not only in the Epstein case, but all around. DOJ accidentally owns itself with Epstein files blunder. An embarrassing social media blunder briefly made it appear as if the Justice Department was admitting to impeding the only active criminal investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. The apparent self-own came after journalist and lawyer Aaron Parnas posted on X that the Trump administration is impeding the only active criminal investigation into Epstein. Here's that post. The DOJ just responded to my tweet and admitted it is impeding the only criminal investigation into Epstein. Not enough people are talking about this. The Trump administration is impeding the only active criminal investigation into Epstein. We are, they said. Of course they are. But then, of course, then they try to take it back. Oh, that was an error. That was an error. It's demonstrably false. But they are actively covering it up, according to New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres. He says they're actively covering up, withholding information into their investigation into Zorro Ranch. They're in New Mexico. Protesters breached security at Buckingham Palace, displayed Jeffrey Epstein picture in throne room. Over there in the UK, 2 demonstrators entered the throne room inside Buckingham Palace earlier today and unfurled a banner demanding answers from King Charles and Prince William regarding Jeffrey Epstein. So it looks like the Well, we're going to get some more out of the House Oversight Committee. It appears as the Epstein saga continues and the cover-up continues. And the cover-up continues. Pam Bondi was fired as Attorney General the day after she agreed to share Epstein files with New Mexico. The cover-up's ongoing. On to the economic section of the show here now. We'll keep reporting on Epstein every single show because Trump's starting wars to get you to look away from it. And so we're going to have to keep reporting on it and calling for justice for the victims as well here now. Here's the racket that StubHub runs. Everything's rigged, a racket. But old Millet said, we're free market over here. No, everything's rigged. This is not free market anything. This is racketeering, organized crime economy.
StubHub bills itself as an online marketplace for fans where they can buy and sell tickets. But it turns out that StubHub CEO himself also has a hedge fund that is scalping millions of dollars worth of its own tickets.
StubHub on its website has this phrase, a marketplace for fans to buy and sell tickets. But there is so much going on behind the scenes that the public generally doesn't know. The company went public on the New York Stock Exchange last fall. They had to file documents to the Securities and Exchange Commission. And in those SEC filings, we find some interesting information. The CEO, Eric Baker, actually owns and manages a hedge fund by the name of Andro Capital. Its business, selling millions of dollars worth of tickets on StubHub. In addition, in those SEC disclosures, StubHub has a deal with a financing arm of an affiliate of Andro's fund. It's all very complicated, but the deal is to give bankroll and short-term financing to other mass scalpers who will then buy tickets, put them on sale on StubHub. So essentially, StubHub and its CEO are in the business of mass scalping.
This is how the scam works from the StubHub CEO, and it's just how any other scalping scam works, but at a much larger scale. So he has his hedge fund, he gets in and he buys large amounts of tickets, usually in bulk from the primary sellers. He then lists those tickets on StubHub for insane markup prices. When the fans buy the tickets, his hedge fund makes a profit off the price difference. This is how any scalping scam works. And StubHub makes it even better for him because he can get discounts on the tickets and he can get discounts on the fees. So in result, he gets millions and millions of dollars from ticket sales. So what's basically happening here is this guy has a lot of power and influence because of his job at StubHub. He gets his hedge fund in there early to buy up as many tickets as he can. He relists those tickets. And then he makes astronomical profits by robbing everyone blind. He's abusing his position of power. And everyone who wants to go to an event are the people paying the price.
Fraud upon fraud upon fraud. Federal judge lambasted and penalized the attorneys behind President Trump's settlements with the IRS. Judge says Trump IRS suit was filed for improper purpose, refers lawyer for possible discipline. President Trump's lawsuit against the IRS over his leaked tax returns was filed for an improper purpose, a judge said earlier today in a scathing decision that referred one of his lawyers for potential disciplinary action and characterized the $10 billion complaint as an exercise in self-dealing. U.S. District Judge Kathleen Williams accused Trump and his lawyers of having manipulated the court system when he sued a federal agency under his control, bypassing a requirement that parties in a lawsuit must have adverse interests and laying the groundwork for a settlement that granted him immunity from tax audits and created a fund to compensate allies of the president who say they were unjustly prosecuted. The judge stopped short of explicitly voiding the deal, shielding Trump from tax scrutiny, but said the government cannot claim that the agreement was the result of a legitimate legal process. Whether the executive branch actors can privately agree to give themselves and their former clients' blanket immunities and billions of dollars in tax monies for legally undefined grievances was never an issue advanced to this court, said Williams, an appointee of Obama. The question is whether the parties could do so by claiming to be adverse and engaging the legitimacy of a court proceeding. The answer is a resounding no. And the rope-a-dope anti-weaponization fund allegedly pay off those persecuted by the Biden administration for supporting Trump. That's another scam, scheme, fraud. Trump set you up, MAGA, on J6. Grow up. They're trying now to use Lindsey Graham, evil Lindsey Graham's death, to ram through this Clarity Act, which is de facto central bank digital currency by another name. They're turning the screws of technocracy. Trump posted this earlier today. In honor of Senator Lindsey Graham, a big supporter, the U.S. Senate should pass the Clarity Act. China and many other countries would like to take complete and total control of this major financial happening, as well as AI, where we are now leading, but where they are fighting hard. Don't let China win on either subject. So yeah, just sell out our sovereignty, freedom, all of it, and give all the money to fight China in this new AI, fintech, Cold War. We got to beat them to the moon. We got to beat them in fraud, schemes, scams, oppression of the people, everything. Everything to beat China. When at the top levels, they're all working together behind the scenes in secret societies, figuring out when they're going to go about increasing the global culling operation here now. Operation Lockstep. We saw it during the bad times. Paramount sued by states in bid to block $111 billion Warner Brothers merger. I believe, 12 states? A coalition of 12 state attorney generals led by California sued Paramount to stop its $111 billion takeover of Warner Brothers Discovery, a sweeping legal challenge to the merger that threatens to reshape Hollywood amid the absence of the Trump administration's intervention in big deals. And so California's acting like they care and want it to be fair and all that. They don't give a damn. It's political for them, even though we may see the benefits of this political infighting between Republicans and Democrats. Maybe the people will get something. I highly doubt it. That's going on now. The average U.S. home is now more unaffordable to the average American than at any point in history. That's a report out of ZBS News. Hashtag MAGA, hashtag winning, hashtag the golden age, hashtag we're getting destroyed by inflation here now because Trump's a lying criminal. 49% of young adults live at home. Wall Street Journal says 37% of adults were living at home in 2019. I don't even know what that means. I guess young adults living with their parents, I guess. 10 years ago, the mortgage rate was 3.5%, and the average new home cost $350,000. Today, the interest rate is 6.5%, and the average new home costs $540,000. The U.S. entry-level job market is at its weakest in 37 years, with the share of unemployed new entrants hitting 13.3%, according to Yahoo Finance. They did give us a 33 column there. We appreciate it. Fed's Waller is considering rate hike if inflation data remains hot. And they lie. Oh, it's 2 point whatever percent. It's motherfreaking 20% inflation on Main Street. They're lying as per usual, rigging the economic data because they're disconnected from Main Street. That's like the majority of America. Millions of Americans take on debt and drain savings to afford food. That's a report out of ZBS News. Millions of Americans are borrowing money or draining their savings to buy groceries, highlighting the financial strain many households face as the cost of living rises. More than a quarter of working age adults who relied on credit cards to buy groceries were either unable to pay their balance in full or miss their minimum payment, according to the Urban Institute, a nonpartisan think tank. About 1 in 10 adults relied on so-called buy now, pay later loans to cover their groceries. Of those, about a third missed a payment last month. Then the analysis found about 20% of working age adults said they have tapped long-term savings that weren't intended for everyday expenses, such as an emergency fund, at least once in the last 12 months to pay for groceries. $6 million a day. Trump's disclosures show he is the swamp's biggest monster. You can see right there, report out of The Hill. Drain the swamp. Yeah. Trump's the most corrupt president in the history of this country. And the next one's going to be that much more corrupt unless we hold these criminals accountable. President Trump told his followers he would drain the swamp. Instead, he became the biggest swamp monster ever. He has obliterated the line between public service and personal enrichment. Trump's recent financial disclosure revealed that he made $2.2 billion in the year since he returned to office. That is a breathtaking figure. It is more than 20 times the annual budget of the city of Ithaca, New York, where the author served as a mayor for 10 years. Who's the author of this op-ed? By Myrick. They're in The Hill. Goes on to say, in other words, Trump raked in on average more than $6 million a day, 7 days a week. The presidency is more than a full-time job, but Trump's side hustles were pulling down 15 times the president's annual salary, $400,000 every single day. Even the conservative Free Press recognizes this, writing, there is no modern parallel for the scale of shamelessness with which the president is enriching himself in office. It's the communists. No, Trump's a criminal. My God, man. Earned would be too generous a term for the way Trump promoted scams like his meme coin. We've covered that. Structured so that he would make money no matter what happened to other investors. As Forbes has reported, Trump asked his political supporters to become his business partners. Those who trusted him got hurt the worst. We've covered that. He rug pulled the Trump coin and Melania coin and made millions initially, hundreds of millions initially, just on fees alone, and then went ahead and took profit and used his idiot MAGA supporters as the exit liquidity, as they say. He rugged them and took profits and left MAGA supporters holding the bag as per usual, and they still love it. So I guess MAGA now are they, I guess they're sadomasochists and they love being abused by this child molester Trump. It's just very sad for America. Trump's sons invest heavily in defense tech as father's administration pours money in. They're getting inside deals, contracts. What's that? Axon. They sold a bunch of, well, they got a giant federal government contract, sold a bunch of equipment to ICE and other federal agencies. Who knew that was coming? Well, the Trumps did, because they bought in ahead of that big federal contract. As we've covered here now, SpaceX stock sinks for a second straight day, nearing $135 IPO, i.e., you are the exit liquidity retail investors. Another rug pull there from the schemester, scamster, fraudster Elon Musk and his SpaceX company. Trump personally earned more from crypto than every publicly traded U.S. crypto company. How could that be? Well, he's rigging it up one side and down the other. Trump out-earned biggest listed U.S. crypto firms in 2025. You can see right there on the graph. Quite an accomplishment. When you're front running with inside knowledge, these markets, you can do such things. Frequent oil draws from U.S. Strategic Reserve push old system to the breaking point, fracturing wells, leaky pumps, and other wear and tear are straining the Gulf Coast salt caverns that make up the reserve. The U.S. is tapping into its national stocks of crude with abandonment. The withdrawals are taking a toll on the strategic reserve system. Just in the past 4 years, the Biden and Trump administrations have ordered the largest release from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve while seeking to tamp down oil prices. They're rigging the market. There is no price discovery from supply and demand in the free market. They're rigging it all. Oil surges over 8% today after Trump's announcements, going back to war. And then let's take a look at the AAA national average for the price of a gallon of gasoline. Will be above $4 before you know it here again. According to AAA national average for the price of a gallon of gasoline, $3.88, unchanged from yesterday, essentially here now. And it's heading nowhere but up. Back to the, thought I trying to click out of this. Okay. Back to the Brown University Watson School of International and Public Affairs. Iran war cost burden, consumer cost burden. They got the data going. I believe this is underreported, but we'll go ahead and cover it here now. $68.3 billion total consumer burden since the start of the war, February 28, 2026. We're now on what day of it? The heck day of the war? We're on day 135. And you can see between gasoline and diesel across both gasoline and diesel per household cost burden is now up to $521.72. They're screwing us and rigging it all the way and profiteering off of this, off our backs here now. Iran has begun rolling out planned power outages nationwide as its power plants and electricity grid operate at maximum capacity. The director of consumer affairs at Tavenar, the state electricity company, said earlier today the outage schedule is announced 2 days in advance, and the plan for the next 2 days has been released across the country. The official said the cuts come as an intense heat wave drives up demand, with the energy ministry warning that consumption could exceed 75,500 megawatts in the coming days, and urging the public to cut usage by at least 10%. Temperatures in some parts of southern Iran are forecast to top 50 degrees Celsius. And it's going to get pretty hot with the bombs dropping on the Iranians as well there. And we're targeting civilian infrastructure right now, their energy infrastructure, which is a war crime. We'll get to, I believe we have a report of Little Marco. Now we're going after the ICC here, the State Department is. Anyhow, continuing here, shipping data analyzed by Kepler indicates that commercial tank traffic through the Strait of Hormuz dropped to a 2-month low as of today. Kepler data further indicates a 52% week-on-week drop in confirmed crossings from July 10th through the 12th as traffic shifts back to more defensive routes. The missiles, everybody standing there with a gun. Wall Street in panic over Saudi UAE rift as financial firms prepare contingency plans. Report out of Bloomberg, the growing rift between Saudi Arabia and the UAE has raised concerns in the world of finance, prompting major financial institutions to come up with, quote, contingency plans in the event that ties between the two Gulf states deteriorate any further. Being the two largest economies in the Persian Gulf, the tension between Riyadh and Abu Dhabi have been causing significant concern within lending banks and investment institutions. Several informed executives have told Bloomberg Wall Street is terrified of being caught in the crossfire of tensions between the Gulf nations, the two leading economies there in the Gulf. And they go through here, oh yeah, the banks are concerned, feel bad for them. Asian markets estimated to lose nearly $1 trillion in market value as U.S.-Iran war escalates. South Korea's COSPI plunged about 9%, while Japan, China, Taiwan, and India all posted significant losses on their markets. The EU imported a record 9.89 million tons of liquid natural gas from Russia's Yamal liquid natural gas plant in the first half of 2026, buying nearly all of the facility's output before the bloc's ban on long-term Russian liquid natural gas imports takes effect in January 2027. France, Belgium, and Spain were the largest buyers, highlighting Europe's continued reliance on Russia's liquid natural gas despite sanctions and the war in the Ukraine, according to a report out of the Financial Times. Here, America, we have schizophrenic foreign policy. EU, schizophrenic foreign policy. We hate Russia. We love killing them. F Putin, the most evil man in the world. By the way, we buy all of our liquid natural gas from them until sanctions go into effect at the beginning of next year. But in the meantime, F you, Putin. Let me buy some more of that natural gas. It's schizophrenic. Make no sense, but it does when they're all working together at the very top levels. Ukrainian drone attack kills 3 in Moscow region. Russia's defense ministry said it downed 342 drones over multiple Russian regions. Trump has decided to support the bipartisan Russian sanctions bill that was led by now dead Senator Lindsey Graham. The move announced after Graham's death is expected to make it easier for Congress to pass the legislation. The bill would allow Trump to impose steep tariffs on countries that continue buying Russian oil, gas, and uranium, increasing pressure on Moscow over the war in Ukraine. Senate leaders from both parties said passing the bill would honor Graham's legacy. Yeah, pissing off Russians and killing Russians. What a legacy this piece of trash has. And keeping us in this forever war. And lawmakers are now working on final steps before a Senate vote, according to a report out of CNN. So isn't that wonderful? Piss off Russia even a little bit more. And again, Trump and NATO signing off on giving the plans of long-range Patriot missiles so Ukraine can manufacture them. And Russia has said in the past they will take that as a direct act of war by the United States against Russia. We're like there now. Putin said Russia's response to the enemy strikes will be reciprocal and several times more powerful. Again, last few weeks, heavy attacks by Ukraine on Russian energy infrastructure, attacking their petroleum manufacturing capabilities. Russia is facing a fuel shortage now due to these attacks. They're pretty pissed off about the whole thing. Here's a giant bomb Russia released footage showing 3-ton FAB 3000 glide bomb striking the front line there in Ukraine. It's a pretty damn big explosion. Here's video of it. Gotta kill that music. But yeah. So Russia, Ukraine, hot and heavy. Finland has built an underground city beneath Helsinki that can protect nearly 1 million people. Beneath Helsinki lies a vast network of 5,500 bomb shelters capable of protecting nearly 1 million people in the event of a war or a nuclear attack. Most serve everyday purposes such as sports halls, playgrounds, swimming pools, and even rehearsal spaces, but can quickly be converted into emergency shelters. The Times reports here in America, Trump builds his ballroom underground bunker. And so all the war criminals that piss off the rest of the world to the point they're ready to bomb us, they're going to be all safe. And the rest of America, you and I, Joe Blow Americans, we're hung out to dry, you see. So at least Finland acts like, with their underground city of bomb shelters, they care about their population. Here in America, they're just like, you're a communist, go die. Yesterday marked a significant milestone. A U.S. Southern Command, this is a badass ship they have, still rendering aid, they tell us, to earthquake-stricken Venezuela. Not posting whacking narco drug traffickers and fishing boats lately. Now U.S. Southern Command's shifted gears. There's still a quasi-secret drug war going on in Mexico, Central and South America. But in the meantime, we're helping out the Venezuelans after we stole all their oil and gold. We are rendering aid to the earthquake victims there.
Suma quedó, esta ciudad quedó bajo el fondo. Muchos muertos. Muertos y necesitamos que vaya a ayudar para allá. De verdad que necesitamos bastante gente que vaya para allá a ayudar.
Behind me, the Marines are offloading Gem Aid right now, and then we have a distribution that we're going to do right here on the beach.
There you go, helping the Venezuelans. The least we could do after we kidnapped their president, stole their oil and gold, the least we could do is give them some Gatorade after earthquake. They're great humanitarians. U.S. Southern Command. Japan building first spy agency since World War II with Western help. What could go wrong there? We don't have enough spies. We don't have enough cameras up everybody's rear end. We need more spying. Japan is building its first centralized intelligence agency since World War II, privately seeking advice from U.S., Australia, and Germany on technology, staffing, and priorities. According to a report by the failing New York Times, the agency is budgeted at roughly $407 million, expected to be operational by December, and set to coordinate around 33,000 intelligence personnel across the police, defense ministry, and foreign affairs ministry. It forms part of Japanese Prime Minister push to shed post-war restrictions on defense and security in response to what Tokyo calls multiplying threats from China, Russia, and North Korea. The plan has drawn criticism from China, which accused Japanese Prime Minister of Militarism, and from Japanese lawmakers who said the agency infringes upon the right to privacy and other rights and paves the way for a surveillance society. That's where the whole world is going here now, as they're turning the screws on scientific dictatorship, technocracy. Western nations face $23.6 trillion bill to end dependence on China. Big report here now. Out of the Financial Times, the United States and Europe would need to invest an additional $23.6 trillion over the next 25 years to end their reliance on China in critical industries such as manufacturing and technology, and to replicate China's infrastructure, research, software, manufacturing, and supply chain advances. According to an analysis from the consultancy firm Parthenon, cited by the Financial Times, duplicating the infrastructure, research, software, manufacturing, and supply chains now tied to Beijing would cost the United States $13.7 trillion, the Eurozone $9.7 trillion, and the UK $800 billion over the next 25 years. These totals amount to some $940 billion a year. Localizing supply chains without putting prohibitive costs on taxpayers and consumers will be one of the most formidable challenges for businesses and governments alike in the coming years. The analysis went on to say, who cares? You don't need to eat. You don't need nothing. Everything for war against China. And it's literally cooked up in the back smoky room. Who cares? There's little Marco Rubio going after the ICC now. So there will be no enforcement of international law as we're building out the Greater North America Project to take control of our region of one world government here now. And so the old liberal order is no longer, as we continue to report, publicly announced by many Western leaders all throughout this year.
For 250 years, Americans have governed ourselves as a free and sovereign people. We choose our own leaders, we determine our own laws, and when we're accused of a crime, we stand for judgment before a jury of our own peers. This is the essential and indispensable feature of our form of government. It is the foundation of our shared way of life. But today, powerful people in faraway places want to take that away from us. They believe that they should be in charge of your laws, of your country, your life, and they don't care whether or not you agree. Halfway across the world, there's an institution that calls itself the International Criminal Court. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. But chances are you don't know the names of its judges, of its prosecutors, or its president. And you shouldn't have to. But as we speak, the ICC and its friends are waging a war against our country, not with bullets or missiles, but with statutes and compacts and the force of so-called international law. When the ICC was born 24 years ago, they told us that it was merely a narrow backstop, a global court that would step in to prosecute only the gravest offenses, things like genocide and war crimes, and only when a nation's courts were unable to prosecute them on their own. But the truth is, it was something far more radical and extreme. It was a global tribunal.
How we're joining with the genociders right now. So we are the genociders. There would be no doubt about it after the NDAA. Aardvark Land spent years cultivating this is a report out of the failing New York Times, claiming that former Iranian President Ahmadinejad, remember this dude? They're trying to say that they tried to recruit him to be an intelligence asset for Aardvark Land. As part of the effort to recruit him, Aardvark Land intelligence met with him abroad, including in Hungary, using academic events as cover for secret meetings. The plan culminated during the 2026 war when Mossad operatives extracted Ahmadinejad from Tehran following an Aardvark-land airstrike on his compound and took him to a safe house inside Iran as part of a broader regime change operation. The operation ultimately failed after Ahmadinejad left the safe house under unclear circumstances. According to Iranian officials, he is now under house arrest after authorities uncovered his alleged contacts with Aardvark-land. I remember they're floating the idea of, we'll do regime change and put all that Ahmadinejad back in there. Remember him? Everybody liked him. Not so much, apparently, here now on this new reporting. A little bit more. So this report out of the cradle there. Follow-up on Iran's supreme leader's funeral. Let's hear how much the Iranian people hated his guts.
We're here at the funeral ceremony for Ali Khamenei. Because I'm an American, I just wanted to represent the many Americans who were against the war that President Trump launched against Iran in February that killed Khamenei and many other innocent people. And again, there are many people in America who are against this war, so I just wanted to come here today to hear and talk to other people that are supposedly our enemies, but in fact are people who are just regular people like us, who are the victims of U.S. and Israeli bombing. We know that America and Israel started a war against Iran and Lebanon. What would you say to the American people?
كشعب احنا اكيد نود كل الاحترام، خاصة هو افضل من بقية الشعوب لان طلع مظاهرات، بينما شعوب عربية لم تخرج مظاهرات، بس احنا اختلاف ويا السياسة الامريكية ليس ويا الشعب الامريكي.
هذا قائد حارب الشيطان الاكبر، حارب القوى الظالمة.
الشيطان الاكبر امريكا.
امريكا.
اوكي.
تتقوى على الشعوب الضعيفة. الشعوب تستولي على مقدراتها، تستولي على مواردها الطبيعية، ما تقدم المساعدات.
ايش تريد تقول للشعب الامريكي مثلا بالنسبه لترامب وشو اللي هو يساوي ايام اسرائيل ونتنياهو؟ عندك اي رساله للامريكان؟
مو بيده، حكومات ظالمه، حكومات ظالمه، يعني مو بيده. هسه قبل فتره صارت المظاهرات بامريكا والقتل والارهاب اللي يسووه داخل امريكا، ما حد قال انه امريكا انه ظالمه ومانع للحريات ومانع وما تقتل بالعكس هي القتل بيه، المجاعه بيه.
مثلا احنا مو اعداء، مو مثلا انا امريكي، نعم، انت عراقي، نعم، وشيعي، نعم، في اي سبب احنا لازم نكون اعداء؟ انت عدوية وانا عدو؟
لا انا عدوي الدولة الظالمة، الحكومة الظالمة. انا شعب مغلوب عليه، مو كل الشعب الامريكي انه مو زين، قسم من الشعب الامريكي ما قابل عليه، ولحد الان يطلبون مظاهرات.
مش كل الامريكيين هن راضيين بهذا الشيء اجمالا، اللي هن المستضعفين بامريكا هن ضد هذا الشيء، بس الطغاة هن بدهم هيدي الحرب لانه بتجيب لهم مال، وهن بدهم يحاربوا ويواجهوا سمعة الشيعة والمسلمين بالشرق الاوسط ليخلوا نفوذهم بالشرق.
وما في مشاكل بين الشعب اللبناني والشعب الامريكي بالنسبه لك؟
انا بالنسبه لي اللي بحبني بحبه، بس اللي بده يجي يقاتلني بدي اقاتله وما بتخلى عن ارضي.
Well, at least those guys seem to know what time it is. They're in Iran in that interview. U.S. Central Command launches third, I guess it'll be the fourth night of strikes against Iran, now ongoing. A 3.7 magnitude earthquake hit North Iran amid ongoing U.S. bombing across the country. Are we hitting them with earthquake weapons as well? I don't know. Do we hit them with such a big bomb that it caused a friggin' earthquake? I don't know. Are they using strategic nuclear weapons? I don't know. There are massive explosions all across Iran here now being reported. Massive U.S. strikes hammer Iran Night sky erupts with violent explosions. There's a little bit of the video, real short clip here, but it's ongoing. We're bombing the hell out of Iran right now. I don't even know why any of this is necessary. We won the war, according to Trump, many months ago. But yet we continue the bombing campaign against Iran as we're live here now. We're bombing the hell out of Iran. Let's check for the latest loud booms all over the country. There's a couple more videos. Not much to them, just big explosions. Yeah, it's ongoing right now. We're bombing the hell out of Iran. And Iran is retaliating. Yeah, it's hot. It's hot right now. Let's see. Here's Gavin Newsom. Looks like it's being set up. He's an insane criminal just like Trump. There's no difference. There's no difference. Literally no difference. But Trump's setting up for Gavin Newsom, governor of California, to be the next tyrant president of America. Here's Newsom. He's another Zionist puppet. They try to spin it. Oh, it's just Netanyahu. Milei is the bad one. You see, that's a new narrative. I see them out there trying to spin. Some right wingers and also Democrats. Well, it's Netanyahu. He's the bad one. It's not the state of Aardvark land and their bloodlust. Let's watch this short clip with a lying criminal, California psycho, Gavin Newsom.
There's been some headlines. I just want to clear this up. Yes or no, do you consider Israel an apartheid state?
I said that was directional as it relates to what Freeman was arguing about the annexation of the West Bank. So no, but in the context of his pursuit in the hard and the far right, I align with that concern and that thinking that was expressed very pointedly by Tom Freeman.
Yeah. So you think they're potentially on the path to becoming an apartheid state if they continue?
They're apartheid state and have been for a long friggin' time. And these greasy, lying U.S. politicians are a bunch of criminals. Ro Khanna, at least, he's a Democrat out of California here, congressman. He says, yes, it is apartheid. That is about the facts on the ground. Yeah, it is. They're in Lebanon now. The Aardvark land reconnaissance drones reported right there deep in the heart of Lebanon, there over Beirut. You can see on that map. Open letter from residents of southern Lebanon says, amid ongoing Aardvark land violations in the south, a coalition representing residents of Lebanese border villages called for urgent action to stop the ongoing destruction of their communities. The group said more than 60 villages remain occupied and that Aardvark land is changing their geographic, topographic, and demographic character. It urged Lebanese President Anoun, a puppet of America, to halt any negotiations until the bulldozing, demolitions, and burning stop. Aardvark land forces withdraw, displaced residents are allowed to return, and construction begins. Yeah, none of that's happening. They are not giving up any of that land, and they're going to try to take all of Lebanon because we have a greater Aardvark land project to build. You damn antiseptics. Here's Courtney Banu on the ground there. This is about 12 hours ago. She posted this from Lebanon. It's an ongoing demolition campaign as we continue to report.
From the northern entrance of the town of Al-Khiyam, which is still occupied by the Israeli army, and they're still doing illegal civilian home and infrastructure demolitions here. During the war in March, Ali Azzedine and I filmed Israeli excavators demolishing the historic Khiyam detention center, which stood for almost 100 years. It was built, I think, around 1930. Thousands of people were tortured in Israeli custody, and the prison had been preserved in the condition that it was left in when the Israelis withdrew in the year 2000. leaving behind ample evidence of hideous and savage torture of prisoners. Today, as you can see behind me, a massive illegal Israeli base stands atop the ruins of the site. We spent 15 months investigating the construction and expansion of illegal bases here in Lebanon and the outposts. We studied the building materials and the style of construction. Initially, there were 5. One of them is right over here, HORMUZ Hill. So initially there were 5, 7 if you count the 2 sniper forts in Kfar Kela, from which they also conducted military operations. During this war, the number of illegal Israeli bases on Lebanese land has ballooned to 23. The one behind me here, the new one, is constructed from the outside, from what I can tell, is constructed precisely as the bases on HORMUZ Hill, Mount Blat, Jalader, Labuna, and Hula. The Israeli army are not going anywhere. These structures are built to be permanent. The IDF has also publicly stated multiple times they do not plan to leave Lebanon. As I report this, they are still conducting airstrikes, drone strikes, illegal civilian home and infrastructure demolition, and murders on a daily basis. The latest data from the Lebanese Ministry of Health states that almost 4,500 civilians have been killed and 12,000 more have been wounded in Israeli attacks since March 2nd. Hundreds of those killed were children. There is no ceasefire. The Israeli army is committing acts of genocide using American tax dollars. If I can get close to the other bases that are being built now, I will do so.
She needs to be careful. She needs to be careful. I don't know how long she's going to stay around. A whacking journalist. They're whacking journalists here now. So, Saudi Arabia has now declared war on the Yemen Houthis. Essentially now, West-backed Yemeni government takes credit for Sana'a airport strikes despite Houthis claiming Saudi Arabia behind attack. Footage shows Saudi Arabia bombing Sana'a International Airport in Yemen earlier today. Yemen government said they did it. So conflicting reports are there, but Saudi Arabia has declared war on Yemen again. We're going to follow that as it develops for you. According to local reports, Aardvark land occupation forces have pushed the, quote, yellow line east of the Shah Jayana neighborhood in Gaza City, making it now only 10 meters from Salah al-Din Street in the center of the strip. And here's some images of the apocalyptic wasteland known as the Gaza Strip here now. Again, they level the joint. And they're continuing to seize land, and they're going to push them all the way into the sea and whack them all. Aardvark land attacks across the Gaza Strip have killed 3 Palestinians and injured 15 since dawn this morning, according to local media reports there. 8 Palestinians, including a child, were killed yesterday in Aardvark land strikes and gunfire across the Gaza Strip. They whacked this little 8-year-old girl. Tala Jama Abdu Matar, an 8-year-old Palestinian girl, was killed today. Well, they opened fire on her tent. They're killing refugee children in tents. They're denying crippled Palestinians prosthetic limbs here now. Have mercy on us. Let's watch this.
يا عم تعبنا مش قادرين طلعونا نختش نطلع حكينا كل يوم نيجي نعمل زي هيك تعبنا احنا بشر مش اطراف صناعي بغزه ولا في علاج بغزه بدنا نسافر بالخارج بدنا نتعالج احنا دفعنا الثمن احنا ايدينا راحه اللي ايده رايحه ولا مش رايحه ولا مسؤول بدنا نمشي زينا زي البشر بدنا نحس حالنا مش قادرين نواجه المجتمع هذا مش قادرين اللي بصحته ماشي يلا يلا مش قادر الشاب اللي جاي معاه والجماعه مش قادر يمشي حاله فبالك مقطع ايده رايحه وايده رايحه ومقطوع مسكنا بنج مسكنا عمليات مسكنا كل شيء طلعونا بعين الرحمه احنا قاعدين بنطالب بدنا نتعالج بالعلاج بالخارج نطلع شوفوا كيف الجرائم رايحه وكيف ايدينا رايحه شوفوا المسؤولين على الكروسه ارحمونا
Have mercy on us. Wounded Palestinians gathered to plead for medical evacuations amid Aardvarkland's ongoing ban on the entry of prosthetics and severe restrictions on specialized medical care into Gaza. Four people killed, several wounded when Aardvarkland drone fired 3 missiles at a metal workshop near Haddad Company on Industry Street, southwest Gaza City yesterday. There's footage of it. I don't even see. I guess we'll show this one. You can see a big explosion here. Whacking refugees in tents. Wowzers, man. Aardvarkland forces kill Palestinian near separation wall north of occupied Jerusalem. 20-year-old Palestinian was killed. Bar Nabala. This morning, do we have the guy's name? I don't even think we got his name yet. They did put out his image. I don't see his name in this report. Yeah, they whacked this dude. You're not going to claim he's a terrorist or anything. It's just in the occupied Jerusalem there. At least 36 workers have been shot near the wall since 2026, while 2 were killed in May, according to the Jerusalem Governorate. Let's see, Ro Khanna, they made a big deal. Ro Khanna went over there to the occupied West Bank. He was detained by the IDF at gunpoint. I guess it was actually ultra-Zionist settlers with the backup of the IDF there, detaining California Congressman Ro Khanna. Let's watch this clip.
For 3 days, I've been talking to Palestinians in their homes and villages about the daily injustices they face under occupation.
And also the blood is here. Do you see the blood? See that? Oh my gosh.
As a congressman, I never expected to be the target of settler violence. But when we visited a school in Zenuda village that settlers had burned down, we were detained by settlers wielding M4 guns who blocked our van from leaving the site. They called additional settlers for support and held us captive for 75 minutes, recording videos, laughing at us, and mocking me and my staff. I will never forget their faces. What angered me most is that the IDF soldiers who came to the scene supported the violent settlers over American citizens. Here's the question. If the settlers and IDF could do this to an American congressman, imagine what life is like for an ordinary Palestinian under Israel's occupation. I've never felt more powerless in my whole life. For decades, American politicians have made the trek to Tel Aviv while not taking the time to cross over and hear from Palestinians about the actual facts on the ground.
These settlers speak bad words for Palestine. And it's like
yelling. And she was a sleeper.
And you are animal, you are must kill the Palestinian animals. You are like animal.
We never forget him. We keep thinking about him. His room still his room still like he left it.
Many Palestinians are desperate to be seen, to be heard, and to live with dignity.
And sometimes in the social media say the settlers violence because what happened on 7th of October. No, my uncle Haj Suleiman, father of Eid, killed.
I have met many of European Parliament members, but this is the first time that I do it for an American member.
It's really the first time congressman that comes to Beit Sahur.
I'll be posting their stories throughout the next few weeks because it is time that Palestinians have full equal rights in their own state.
There is the vote without food, without water since all the congressmen should come and see the basic three stuff that we want. We want our land, we want water, and we want the freedom of movement. It's very simple. Land, water, freedom of movement. It's simple as
terrorists. Obviously, they're going to whack them all. They're not getting any of that. And thankfully, when we merge up our militaries here after they pass the current NDAA, we'll have all that genocide, apartheid, bloodshed, torture, crimes against humanity, war crimes on us as well. We already have a lot on us. We want it fully on us here in America. And so we look forward to that being passed in Congress. Aardvark Land advances plan for largest settlement enclave in East Jerusalem's Lisan. Aardvark Land authorities approved plans to advance the construction of around 450 illegal settlement units inside Palestinian neighborhood in occupied East Jerusalem. The organization said the project, which had been frozen for more than 2 years, could bring around 2,000 ultra-Zionist settlers into the neighborhood. The Jerusalem governorate said that the project would create the largest settlement enclave inside a Palestinian neighborhood in occupied East Jerusalem and reflects an integrated settler colonial project rather than isolated violations. And then here's the map. They're taking all that. They're taking it all. Okay. There's the map. They're taking all of that. And the final report of the day here, Jerusalem governorate slams Aardvark. Well, we covered that. Yeah, they're taking it. They're taking it. Okay, let's get the latest headlines from Iran International. We are bombing right now. There's ongoing. Trump doesn't rule out Iran talks as U.S. intensifies strikes. Iran claims it struck 2 rogue supertankers. Democrat senator seeks new Senate vote to end Iran war. But Trump got a new 60 days. He just told us with all his lying lawyers. Oil climbs further as renewed U.S.-Iran fighting rattles markets, you think? Sirens sound in Bahrain amid unconfirmed reports of strikes near U.S. Fifth Fleet. U.S. Embassy in UAE cancels consular appointments. You think? It's getting real bad, real fast. Again. All right, latest headlines out of Al Jazeera here. U.S. bombs Iran again as Trump orders Iranian blockade in Hormuz Strait. Trump claims U.S. strikes have sent Iran back to the Stone Age to a large extent. Air raid sirens sound again in Bahrain. What is Iran's Pickaxe Mountain? Trump says we're taking Pickaxe Mountain, or he's floated the idea of taking it, and the Karag Island as well. That's ongoing. Let's see. Let's check in. Well, let's check in with, see if we got any reports on the ground, anything significant going on. The siege on Yemen has been broken and war with Saudi Arabia has begun. Yemen celebrating, shooting off fireworks, allegedly some. Yeah, it's all kicking off. Bombing the hell out of everything right now. All right, let's go to the channels and wrap up this Monday edition. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Let's go to Odysee channel. See if we have any viewers there in the chat on this Monday of war. Shout out to the Odysee viewers. Shout out to Highland. Let me scroll up here a little bit. Shout out to Pink, Highland, Danger. Highland says Sam Neill. He was on the telly tonight, and McConnell lives. It starts with a massive tax revolt, Danger says. How we know how to do it soft. It's just people, I don't know what it is. Maybe something will light the fire under America's ass here. Sanctions only work if they are using the U.S. dollar, which they are. Not so any oil sanctions are meaningless and useless. You should run, Sam. I'll never work for these criminals. I hate their friggin' guts. Shout out to John tuning in there. Let's see. John says all of this would likely go away if someone revealed the blackmail material Mossad has on Trump. Danger says, I don't think there's any blackmail. I think they are all vile criminals in cahoots, robbing, raping, murdering their way into total destruction of the white man and Western nations. I believe they all, well, they're a criminal gang, right? And so they do, I believe they do have blackmail. It's like the gang initiation. You have to bend over for Lindsey Graham or whatever, or they, that's the whole routine. So you can show your allegiance to the gang, the Epsteiners, and then they have dirt on you. You have dirt on them, mutually assured destruction. And it's gang initiation. You have to, make a snuff film or whatever they cook up. Whatever horror they cook up for you to take part in. And so they knowingly are on film doing these crimes as part of their gang initiation. The StubHub thing sounds like a conspiracy. Oh, man. Shout out to Fat Bob. Larry Johnson insists that Lindsey Graham died in Kiev. And remember, not Larry Johnson, the other dude, what's the name, Ritter, insisted that freaking Netanyahu and Ben-Gvir were dead. Remember all that? They're not dead. So all these ex-CIA dudes, I'd take it with a big grain of salt. Seriously. Out there. I did see those reports, though. Why wouldn't? We're doing everything short of U.S. shooting missiles at Russia. Why wouldn't we want to say that Lindsey Graham was killed by Russia in Ukraine, and we need to go ahead and go to full war with Russia? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't jive, honestly. With all the explosions, CO2 levels must be terrible. They are. I'm sure they are. They're WW, and that is what you are doing. Bent nose, sustaining the system. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in on this Monday edition of Weaponized News on the Odysee and chatting it up over there. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on X, Kick, Facebook, Substack, Rumble, YouTube. Let's head over there and see how some of these chats went. We did have quite a crowd on the YouTube for a minute. This is going to be great when we destroy Iran. Paul says, yeah, it's going to be great, Paul. We're not going to destroy Iran. America, LD says, yeah. There you go. This man has been indoctrinated and has little common sense. I am black and love America. If you don't love this country, leave. Trump's a disgusting, convicted sex abuser, David says. I love our president. Thank God for Trump. Steve says on the YouTube. So you are sadomasochist then, I see. You love the abuse. Islamic Republic of Japan is 2 weeks away. Yeah. Who's more foolish, the fool or the fool that follows him? Dump Trump. Yeah. RGC needs to be removed, I guess, since they didn't surrender and instead continued to fire on its neighboring countries. It needed the treatment. Trump is making a mockery of America, Max says. Yep. Trump said gas prices should be $2.25. I'm waiting to see that happen. Shout out to Plutonium. I thought we should pray for old Lindsey Graham's soul as good Christians. Now, F him. Burn in hell, Lindsey Graham. I forget. There's a bunch of Bible quotes that says you should be happy when the wicked die. Price of gas depends by state governors' approval of lower gas taxes. Rockefeller oil oligarchs are price gouging us. Lord says, first time's here. Thanks for the coverage. Well, shout out to you there, Lord, on the YouTube. Spoken like a person who's never read the Constitution. Are you talking about our Congress? You have to consider 84% of their population have identical ideologies to Jeffrey Epstein. Are you talking about Congress again there? Reasonable? Okay, allow me to help. We have lost 90,000 soldiers and service members as of today from the beginning. I don't know where you get that from. I wonder if Donald Trump is working for China to destroy our military power. If you'd watch Weaponized News and understand the long-term reporting about this, it's a soft power transfer to the east is what's going on here now. Who cares? Killing terrorists is awesome. Super says on the, well, have you heard of blowback? Yeah, kill those dirty terrorists. Yeah, mass murdering terrorists. You are gay, they say. You are gay. We did get some trolls today. I'm so happy you are in charge of nothing. Where did you serve, by the way? Iran's regime must be destroyed, Frederick. It's all based on lies, brother. It's all based on lies that we're going to be nuked by Iran in 2 weeks. It's an illegal foreign war of aggression. It's a freaking war crime targeting civilian infrastructure. Why can't we just get this finished? Oh my gosh. You're un-American if you don't love this country. I thought you were for gun restrictions. More people talking about children. America has become everything we revolted against in the first place. There you go. Reasonable. Now you're breaks my heart, but it's a matter of the truth. Indeed. They don't just shoot people for no reason. He was Colombian. Oh, man. Lucifer there says, we are the 99% indeed. Our president has fired everyone who was competent. Oh, man, quite a few comments. Thank you, guys. Even the trolls out there. It's not going to get to me. Troll away. Flock delete the information from their system, but some with access to the data retain and share your information with others without permission. Ove, shut it down. The goy know too much. Oh, man. There's treason on every level. If they pass that NDAA with that section merging our militaries, it definitely is straight up treason. Not much chat on the Rumble today, I see. We did get quite a bit of chat on the YouTube, though. Thank you guys for keeping that chat going. Are we even on? Shout out to Rumble audience over there. A lot probably went to go see Ruckus on that Jimmy Dore show. Way bigger show than this, right? Free Gaza from Hamas. And again, missing the point. Aardvark Land created Hamas. Warsaw Ghetto was the same, Carrie says. There you go. Doing to others as they had done to them. Says, bro, you realize how many tens of thousands of effing people die in the Middle East every day and you don't even hear about it? Now you look all worried because 10 people were shot. It's an ongoing genocide there in Gaza. Over 73,000 civilians have been killed. Try to follow the reporting here now. Mysterious. Are we winning bigly yet? Not so much. That's Trump's way of pardoning Biddy. Shout out to A-Dub. Who will enforce the war crimes? Straight is open. It's closed. It's open. It's closed. It's open. It's closed. Haha. Yeah. Indeed, A-Dub. I miss Jimmy for Sam. Thank you, Jason. Thank you guys for tuning in and keeping it lively. As always, everybody do your own research, peace, love, and freedom. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Monday evening. We'll be back here on Tuesday for more Weaponized News. Let's pray for peace and this whole thing calms down. It only looks like it's escalating. We attack them. They attack us back. Same in Russia, Ukraine. And it's just increasing, getting that much more explosive. It's quite horrific. Let's pray for peace. And we'll see everybody back here tomorrow for more Weaponized News.